Oi, oi. I don't know if anybody's in. Oh, we got one in. Oi, oi. Nice one, nice one. So let me know if you can hear me or not, yeah? Because I've got it. I'm actually going to I'm going to go podcasting as well. So I'm going to do the live. And as I'm doing the live, I'm going to start a podcast going. So let me know that you can actually hear me. Train back. No shit, on a train. Can you hear me okay? Pippa, it's good to see you. Good to see you. I hope you're doing all right. I sent you a couple of messages, but I hope you're doing good. I hope you're feeling better. So I'm basically gonna start a podcast going in a minute. And then I'm going to get into basically talking about Grom and going with his trip and shit like that. So can you hear me? If you can't hear me, then I'm going to have to I'll shut it down and I'll start again, because I've noticed that looks like you just left, so I don't know. But if someone can give me a little bit of an heads up whether whether you can actually hear me or not, because that would be like a blinder. It would really help me out. So, because my wife's got me running around like a blue arse fly at a minute, and I wanted to I wanted to get this podcast in. We've already done a bit of work already, but if someone can please give me a shout. Let me know that I'm getting out there, and that would help a lot. Like I say, I have no idea really of whether I'm out there or not. So if you can, hope everybody's having a good weekend. Hope everybody's in the PMA. I know I'm buzzing like crazy. I'm really enjoying this weekend. I really am. It's something I'm going to talk about, but I will get the podcast going. We will get a little bit of breath work going. And then I'm going to get on the subject of, mental health and going forward and taking those risks and pushing yourself and getting to the places that you want to be getting to. And it's all going to be wrapped around Grom and the Grom trip. So you have a quick check on my phone, see if anybody's try to get an hold of me, because I'm actually plugged into the box as well. So let's have a look. No, okay. So I don't know if anybody's actually going to come on. I hope someone turns up, but I will wait to start a podcast until someone's on here and they can tell me that I'm sweet as a nut on the old sound, because that would help. That would help. Hey, Marie, how you doing? You're not showing up. That's weird. Can you hear me? Can you let me know if you can hear me or not? Because I've got it going through the box, and I want to. I'm actually gonna be starting a podcast, so I'm gonna do a podcast totally loud. Hey, yeah, awesome, awesome. That makes me happy, Marie. That makes me happy, because I tested it. This is my test to see if this is actually working the way I want it to work. So. You used your link from yesterday. Which link? Which one is that? The my vlog link, or which one? I've got a bit of a story. Because I tell you the truth, Marie, you helped me out as well yesterday. You really did, because whenever I get into being able to help someone out, especially someone I love, it bloody gives me that little bit of an edge and a little bit of an energy boost. And I'll tell you what, I had an absolute blinding night. I'm going to talk about it, but I want to get it in the podcast. So you'll see me like hitting the button, starting to record, and what you hear at the beginning of my podcast, where I'm talking in the beginning and I'm fading in and out of the sound, I'm actually going to be doing that on the live. I don't know if Grom's going to be turning up, but this is basically about him. So I'm going to wait a little bit. And you helped more than you know yesterday. I appreciate that. I really do. It, as long as you're in that PPA, that positive aggressive action, yeah, moving the steps forward. And sometimes it doesn't take that much. I've had people even text me and say, Steve, I'm in a bit of bother. And I'm like, what's up? And couple of messages. And sometimes just around, telling them to breathe, literally just like, because you forget. So, but it was an absolute pleasure, Marie. And this is going to go out, on the recording as well. So, because this, I've been really looking for. I didn't get much sleep last night. I've been buzzing like mad. I've been absolutely buzzing like mad, and I discovered a new way of Earl Grey tea. Frickin' had it last night. Absolutely amazing. Hey, Pippa, you're back in. It's not showing people up. That's very weird. In fact, the Grom was saying that he hasn't been seeing like comments show up of mine on his YouTube, which is, I'm like, because it's showing that on my side that it's showing up as posted. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. But I don't know if you've been hearing, Pippa, that the whole Marie actually helped me out as well yesterday, and it was an absolute blinding, turned into an absolute blinding evening. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do a podcast, an actual podcast. So I'm actually going to be going on a recording for a podcast as well. I'm not going to do it right now so it don't drag out, but I wanted to post out there to all the different social media sites that's out there for podcasting that I'm on, and also give Grom a little something that he can start off with, because this is the start of the trip, which is going to be, I didn't realize I gained a day with him, which is absolutely awesome, because I thought he was coming in on a Saturday, but it's weird. I opened up my calendar and what's marked in my calendar? Friday. But sorry about the texting, the auto texting, Pippa. What's the sorry for? You don't need to apologise. Everything's good. We all love each other here. And someone's dropped again. Oh, what's going on? It's weird. It's going up and down. It's like not showing me, then showing me, then not showing me, showing me. Crazy. But if you can push me out there, please, if you can let people know that we're on live and we're ready to go and get into some breath work. I'm going to give it until about 10 past, and then I'm probably going to get the old recording going, and then I'm going to go into a bit of breath work, and then what this is all about, which is the story of Grom and how I got to meet him and the whole journey and where he's at and where he's come from, and the whole trip thing. And then it stemmed back to an idea that my wife and I had last night. And I'm like, oh, I like that. And I was going to play the recording because I sent him a recording. It was like, I don't know what, it was like ridiculous o'clock. It was like, I don't know, freaking 12, 11, I don't know. My missus and I have been going out on date nights lately since the kids are all growing up now. I've got 21 and 18-year-old now, well, coming up 22. So it's, I've been saying, and I said to my missus on Saturday morning, because we've been running around doing a load of stuff. And I said to my missus, hey, you want a date night? And she's like, yeah, all right. I don't really want to cook or anything like that. Well, yeah, sweet as that. So we ended up anyway, I don't want to give it away because I want to talk about it in the podcast. So I don't want to keep repeating. So we'll just hang out a little bit. Is that good for until about 10 past? I hope you're doing that. You're both still in here, Marie and Pippa, because I'm like a man down. Man down, man down. It's showing me I'm a man down, which is weird. I expected a good few more people in, but all good. And I'm so happy. It didn't go to waste. See what I mean? I could look at this and go, God, I haven't got a load of people in and all that. But I learned something, because as soon as Marie came on, it was like, yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Sweet. Now I know this is working, because I've had trouble with the sound box, and I've been playing around with it a little bit more, and I started to figure out that I must have set something now, which is even better, to where as soon as I open something up and I've got that turned on, it automatically just starts feeding through, which is like sweet as a nut. Sweet as a nut. So are you both still there? I don't know who's in. It doesn't matter. I'm going to around about 10 past, I'm going to get the old start the recording and show. You'll see it, and then you'll be able to pick it up on YouTube because it'll be posted on there. But it goes across a bunch of different platforms. My podcast part of it. This is the vlogging bit, and then the podcast part of it will go through all the different other platforms. And there's a fella I want to give a shout out to from last night as well, because he was absolutely awesome, and he has been a couple of times now. So, but I hope you're still there, and you get to see the process of, and not that you can see the sound box that I got down here. I call it a sound box. I don't know if that's what you call it. Recording box. I don't know. But I've got myself a nice double espresso with some, I think it's pumpkin spice creamer, foamed up a little bit. Lovely jubbly. Let me have some of that. Wet me whistle a little bit, eh? So good. It's like having cream without cream. Me being plant-based and all, yeah. It's bloody delicious. I can actually have something and froth it and make it taste like, there's a drink that I had last night, like I say, which is wrapped around Earl Grey, and I'm like, oh, wow, absolutely amazing. And it's one to keep in a feather in your cap. It was just, what she told me was 3 ingredients in it, and I couldn't believe that it was plant-based either. So, blimey, what? So I'm going to drink the coffee. Who's actually in the room? Because it's showing I've got one person in the room, but I don't even know if I have one person in the room now. And I hope someone's still in here so we can have somebody get benefit out of the breath work at least. But I'm gonna. And I've really, like I say, I've been really buzzing about this one. I'm here. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Marie. You're a savior. Oh, thank you. Thank you. We're getting a bit of breath work, but you're going to see me like, you've probably seen this before because I know you know people in the podcast game. But I'm going to get a podcast going probably within the next minute and get it started, and then I'm going to tune in, and then we'll get into some, you'll see me introduce that I'm on the live and shit like that, and you'll hear it playing. So I hope you don't mind. And then we're getting a bit of breath work, and then go into a bit of a chat. I was going to try and see if I could do a call in with Grom and have him call in and do a live, like, ask the questions and I can read it out and bosh, and he can answer it live on the, he could have answered it live on the live and on the recorded podcast. So it'd have been absolutely awesome. I've been wanting to try it for a while, like have someone call in, and chat. So if I know that if he gets on and he's all cool with it, and we'll make it happen. But I don't know. Hang on, someone showed up on my WhatsApp now. So let me have a look. Oh no, that's my daughter. So I don't know. I don't know if anybody's gonna come on. But all good. All right, I'm gonna start this podcast going. So just bear with me, and let me turn that down. So just bear with me because I'm going to introduce it in and do it just like you hear. You're going to hear what you hear in the start of a podcast. So let me just tune this in a little bit, get myself dialed in, and here we go. Oi, you're on live actually with the Cockney Buddha, and it's all about getting real. I had an absolute blast last night. I had a date night with my wife. Really enjoyed ourselves. And it kind of spurred on this podcast because I started thinking about the Grom trip, and we were talking and ideas started coming forward, and I thought, you know what? It's going to be about the Grom. And also a big thank you to Marie that's out there on my live right now. It looks like someone else has just tuned in, but Marie helped me out yesterday, let me tell you, without even knowing it. You don't know who you got those effects on out there, guys. You really don't. But it kind of spurred off my energy. So here we are in sunny Florida. And it is sunny and humid. And I do have a certification in counselling and love what I do. So please, please, please get this message out there. And if you're not on the live, I'll tell you what, you're going to wish you had. Because after the podcast finishes, I'm going to be carrying on the live. So I wish you were here. Grab yourself a drink. Tune in and start the podcast. Here we are. You're on the podcast, Marie. And I just wanted to really get started. I'm going to kind of start at the end, but then go back, if that's okay. Because it was actually, you know what I'm going to start with? Here's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with breath work first. All of a sudden, I got 5 show up. And by the way, guys, if you just come in and turned up, we are on a podcast. I'm recording this. I'm doing this on a live, but I'm also out there on the podcast. So what's going to happen is we're going to do some breath work, and I'm going to go into the whole trip with Grom and the thing that happened last night and the great time that I had. Keep losing signal with the tunnels. Yeah, right. I'm just sorry, the podcasters out there. I'm actually talking to people on the live as well. So let me get back to what I was saying. So what I'm going to do, and thanks, Pippa, for that. I appreciate the comment. Give big shout out to Pippa out there on the live as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. One of the loyals that come out all the time and give me love. So, but anyway, what we're going to do some breath work. We're going to get some breath work in, which I'm glad it's showing 5 people. I hope there is 5 people in here because it's, I want it to reach the people. And if you can go out, if you can nip out and bang this out there over your social medias, guys, and pull some people into this, yeah, please go ahead and do it, because the more people we get in, the more the better the message gets out there to the people, yeah? So please, bang it out there, bang it out there, bang it out there. Keep it going, right? Give me the old thumbs up. There's 5 in. I've got 1 thumb up. So give me the old thumb up as well, yeah? So we're out, like I said, we're out on the old podcast. And we're live on the old YouTube. So I'm going to do some breath work. I want to get into the semi old breath work first. And then we're going to get into, I'm going to give a shout out to a fella last night that I met. And it all ties in to why I started this, and I wanted to make this about the Grom, because he has shifted my life. We meet those people in our lives that we come, all of a sudden we kind of connect, and they will shift your life. And sometimes it may be a small shift, sometimes it's a big shift. I've had that a couple of times. My mate Tim out there, who I do, took me through pest control. Big old shout out to big boy Tim. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you to death, man. I know I've been a little bit absent lately, but listen, man, I don't forget any of my bleeding mates that are loyal and like part of the family, yeah? Big old shout out to Chill Adventures that's just come in now. We're out there on a podcast, Chill. Banging it out on the old podcast, matey, as well as being on the live. So thanks for turning up and being loyal, matey. Appreciate you. So then I'm going to go into the old Grom story and how we met and all kinds of stuff like that, yeah, and where we ended up last night. So I'm going to get into a bit of breath work. So follow along, yeah, you know the score. Those that are not in the know, I'm gone down to 3 now. Hang on, we had 5. What's going on? Oi, 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 oi. Get it out there, guys. Bang it out there. Get that out there. Get that subscribe going too, yeah? If you can hit that subscribe button, you're going to be doing me a major favor, because I do this because I love to do it. And it's all about getting that message out. I'm absolutely passionate about what I do. I love it when people just turn up. I was even helping my physical therapist through the week. Big old shout out to Joe down there at the Orlando Spine Studio down there on University. Great place. And the chiropractor is actually from Portsmouth in England. Oi, oi, hello, oi, oi. Right. So, and we're already bantering already. I've only seen him like 3 times. But the physical therapist, big shout out to Joe. So, anyway, I'm going to keep on nattering otherwise, and I'm going to be going off skew. And I don't really want to do that, right? So let's get into some breath work. And if you are on the old podcast and listening, listen, please don't be silly, yeah? Make sure that you're not driving or doing any kind of heavy machinery work. It's kind of sad that I actually have to broadcast that out over the damn podcast, and likewise, because I'll tell you what, people will be like closing their eyes, and all of a sudden I'm the bleeding getting the blame for it, and I ain't to blame for any of that, yeah? So, you know, if you want to skip this bit and go forward and get until we get into the story side, please do. But we're going to be getting a little bit of breath work. Not that bad, not that much. Just tuning in a little bit into, you know, to the joy feeling. We're going to get into that, yeah, the emotion of joy. So, because I tell you what, I'm buzzing, guys. I really am. It's a great day. The old current bun is still out there. It's a bit bloody humid. We had a load of rain this morning, and my wife had me out there cutting wet grass. Oi, oi. Because she wants to, bless her heart, I love her to death. We had a banging evening last night, like I said, but yeah, she wants to put the old holiday lights out there because the old Gromster's coming, so he's going to be walking into a bleeding horror movie because we do it up. We got bats and everything all over the place. It's like, really, my wife is an absolute blinder with that, and we had a bunch of people over helping us out this year. A couple of me daughter's friends came over, and it was banging. I love a bunch of people in the house all helping out and out, drinking coffee and chatting and having a good time. Anyway, let's get into breath work. So sit up straight, keep your back nice and straight if that's what you want to do. If you're going to be seated, if you're going to lay down, put a rolled up something behind your neck to keep the cervical spine in a nice curved position. And put something underneath your knees if you can. A nice big pillow or something can work. It just lets that lower back just go flat to that floor and keeps your back nice, flat and straight. Keep your palms up, or if you want to put them down, that's up to you. We don't overthink these things. All I know is that when you put your palms up, and I've seen this and read a lot of research on it as well, including Sadhguru, by the way, go and follow that fella, Sadhguru. Palms up is in receive mode, and there is a different feeling. I know when I meditate with palms up and I turn them over and put them down, there is a switch in energy, I got to say. So let's do palms up in receive mode, yeah? And you're just going to close your eyes down. And I don't want you to overthink anything. Just start relaxing the breath down. And as soon as you start to realize that you're relaxing the breath down, you can start just bringing your eyes to a close if they're not already, just like drapes, just allowing them to shut down and cover those eyeballs so it just shuts out the senses of the sight, and just relax the eyelids. Don't overthink anything right now. And just start becoming aware of the breath that you're taking. Again, don't overthink. Just tune into the breath and just tell yourself, I'm breathing. Because as soon as you tell your brain that you're breathing, it's going to pull its attention to that. So let's let that mind know that I'm breathing. Now you can start slowing it down a little bit and become conscious of that breath. Start slowing it down. Don't overthink it too much. All you're doing is being aware of slowing the breath down a little bit more. And just starting to bring the body to a state of relaxation. Relaxing the shoulders and the arms. If you imagine weights that are hanging off your elbows that pull your shoulders down if you're seated. Just relaxing those shoulders down. Relaxing those traps, that nice big triangular muscle right there that goes up into the back of your neck. The one that causes a lot of trouble, right? Relax that. Relax your arms, your torso. And each breath that you take in, start making it a little longer and a little bit more defined. Start tuning it into it a little more, feeling the air going up through the nose. Pick an anchor point. Remember that point I told you, right there underneath the nostrils and just above the top lip, right in the center. And just bring the mind to there and start feeling that breath just going over that area as you start relaxing down the torso and start tuning into the movement of the torso as you take a nice deep breath in and filling that belly up. And then on the reverse breath, tuning into the body going in the reverse of what just happened with the breath in. Bringing the relaxation down the torso, down into the pelvic area, relaxing all the muscles down into the backside, down to the back of the legs. Anybody that works out and hits those legs in a heavy way, they'll know what those muscles are, let me tell you. You know they're there when you start working those things out, doing a lot of walking and running as well. They can start to be a bit achy. So you know they're there. They're big old muscles. Relax them down. Start seeing them become soft and relaxed. Taking a nice long deep breath in as you do. Pausing at the top a little and start releasing that breath out as you relax those nice big muscles down. The more you relax those big muscle structures, the more relaxed you're going to be in the mind. Coming down to the knees, relaxing the knees. A lot of us have some twinges and that, especially around the wet weather. You know, it's just a signal that something's going on, but it doesn't need to be going on. You can turn your mind to that and start relaxing those areas down and start releasing any kind of aches and pains that may be there. You'll be surprised at what you can do with the mind when you tune in and tell it, no, it ain't happening. Coming down the calf muscles, relaxing those calf muscles right the way down into that nice big tendon, that Achilles tendon that joins in right at the base of the heel. Coming off those nice big calf muscles there, that tendon right there, just relaxing that down, allowing it to relax. We use it a lot. We forget to relax these areas and we forget to massage these areas. So bring the mind to these areas. Nice long deep breath in now. Pausing at the top. Releasing it out nice and slowly, starting to become aware of slowing that breath down now as we come down to the feet and relaxing the feet, relaxing the ankles, allowing the feet to drop into whatever position they want to drop into. If your feet are on the floor, place them flat. Start feeling whatever surface you're on underneath your feet. Becoming aware of it. Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it hard, soft? Becoming aware of each toe's position on that surface. Are some not touching? Are some touching more than others? Nice long deep breath in, anchoring yourself underneath that nose. Pause at the top and release it out nice and slowly. Nice and slowly, bringing the mind back to the feet. Become aware of the space between the toes, the space between the toes. Relaxing that mind even more now as the body starts to relax down, becoming more and more relaxed and more supple and soft. You may feel yourself kind of floaty or heavy. Just allow. Don't fight anything. Just allow. Any emotions that are coming in, it's to thinking. Emotion doesn't happen without thinking. So tell yourself I'm thinking and then come back to that breath. And what I want you to start doing as you take this breath in, I want you to start taking your mind to a really, really happy time that you've had in your life. That is absolutely, you were so happy, laughing, see yourself laughing or smiling. Or maybe you was doing volunteer work and it made you feel a purpose and a worth. Things you may have done for people to where you was given a massive pat on the back and a big thank you and it's made your energy go up like I had yesterday. But just bring your mind there. I want you to bring your mind. Look at it as vividly as you possibly can. Smell it, see it, hear it, taste it if that's the case. Touch it, all your five senses. And bring your mind to that position and keep your mind on that and start to feel the emotion with this. Start to feel what's shifting and what's moving as far as your emotions as your mind comes more into play with what the joy is about. Maybe it was a wedding, maybe it was a party, maybe it was a loved one that you met or somebody you hadn't seen in a while or a phone call you had or an event or something you accomplished, something that brought you absolute joy. And with each breath in, start bringing that into focus more and more. This breath in, bring in more focus. Pause at the top and then allow that to release. Release out. Bringing in that focus even more. And bring your mind to the emotion. We're looking for the emotion of it, the joy of it, the happiness of it, the love of it, the worth, the purpose. And if you feel that right now, remember how you got there by thinking, by bringing into focus a situation, but through thought, because you're not actually living it right now. You're bringing it into mind. You're bringing it into mind. And the emotions coming with it because you're telling the mind it's there. The opposite can happen with this, guys. Remember that. Remember that. If we focus on the negative, the same thing happens as what you're going through with joy right now. Take a nice deep breath in. And release it out nice and slowly. Remember the candle idea that I brought up, right? Don't blow the flame out. Just allow it to quiver. You don't want to blow that flame out. Just allowing it to quiver. And then bring that mind to that joy. And I want you to really pulling the emotion, the joyous motions. How's your body feeling right now? How are you feeling right now, this moment, this minute, this second? How are you feeling? And what you're going to do, because we don't tune into that too much, because we're always waiting for the penny to drop somewhere, right? We're always waiting that things are too good and it's going too well and something's going to happen. Don't do that, because and then what you're doing exactly the same as what you're doing now, but taking it in the other direction. Don't do that. Focus on now. Focus on how you are and your emotions. Enjoy right now. Keeping those breaths nice and long, nice and deep, filling that belly up like a balloon. Nice long deep breath, and then just a little bit of a pause at the top, and then allowing that breath just to release out nice and slowly, relaxing the body even more, tuning into how you're feeling. Because what you're going to do is whenever you start feeling any kind of negative emotion coming on, you're going to take yourself to right where you are right now. I want the mind to switch automatically to where you know you have joy and you know you can make joy by thought and thought alone. You can even take yourself off places and make thought up where you've never been to somewhere before, and you can have a reaction to it. It's up to us and what we want. So when your mind, where you are now and what you're tuning into now, as far as that happy, love, caring heart, emotion, that wrap yourself round in that now. As you breathe in, wrap it around yourself now. Bring it in and wrap it like a blanket. It's like a protection blanket. Wrap it around you. It can protect you. Take your mind there. And as soon as any negative thoughts come on throughout your week, I want you to take your mind right there and wrap yourself up in that blanket, the positive blanket. The positive, emotional, joyous, loving, caring worth Purpose blanket. See it written all over it. See the words. Focusing on what you're seeing, and join that into what the emotion is that you're actually feeling, the feelings of it. That's your blanket. And it's okay. And the reason I say blanket, because a lot of times we go to childhood and there's that something that we had maybe when we was a child that we would hook onto like a blanket, and it become a protection from outside. So wrap yourself in that blanket of joy. Wrap yourself in that blanket. Anytime you have a negative thought that comes in, you're going to wrap yourself in that blanket from now on through the week. And I want to know from people how it goes. Come into my comments. If you do this, hopefully other people will do this when they watch the recording. And I want some of those comments. Let me know how it goes. I've been getting some really good comments out there lately. And it's good to see. I love it. I love it. How you're feeling now is how I feel. And I'm feeling that today. Joy. Happiness. Comfort. Purpose. Worth. Strength. Growth. It's all happening. The only way we make that happen, guys, is if we go forward. Wrap yourself in the blanket, take those risks, move forward. And in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 10. I'm going to count you up out of the meditation. Remember, we're still podcasting. I'm still on the live, and I'm still podcasting. And I'm absolutely loving it. I'm in joy right now. Joy. Loving every minute of it. I want you to join in with me on that. I want you to join in with the happiness that I'm in right now. Anybody that's listening or through the podcast or on the live, wherever you are, I want you to join in with me, because I tell you, you can get your mind there. So I will count from 1 to 10 and step you up slowly instead of the 1 to 5 that we normally do. So you want to come up, and when I get to 10, I just want you to just start blinking your eyes open nice and slowly, okay? While I go into talking a little bit about a big shout out to somebody, and bring yourself in, and thank you. I can see the old hearts and everything flashing up over there. I really appreciate it, let me tell you. And to those people that's listening on the podcast, I'm talking about on my YouTube channel that I'm on live right now, 11 a.m. every Sunday. Please come out, see me. We have joy. On 1, 2, 3, start coming into the room. 4, 5, coming into your body now. Start being aware of your surroundings. 6, coming up nice and slowly. Don't rush anything. 7, nice, big, long, deep breath in. Come on now. Suspend that breath at the top, and then allow that breath to release out nice and slowly. Don't rush anything. Let it last. Let go of that breath like you don't want it to go anywhere. You want to hold on to it. Can't remember what number I was on, but I'm going to start off with 5 again because we're right in the middle. 6, 7, 8. Coming up out of that meditation now, becoming more awake. 9, wiggling those fingers, wiggling those toes. And 10, start blinking your eyes open. Nice and slowly. Don't rush anything. There is no rush. And I'm going to take a little bit of a pause just to get some fluid in me. I hope everybody's good. Remember, I'm not going to be getting into the comments too much because I am live on a podcast. The podcast is recorded. My YouTube is live, but I've got a podcast going, and I'm going to be leaving once I come off the podcast and I stop the podcast, which is going to be towards the end of the story that I'm going to tell. And then I'm going to have some questions. If anybody's got any questions or anything like that, I wanted Grom in here. That would have been an absolute banger, because he could have like called in and we could have tried that out, which I think it would work, because I've only got to freaking slide it in and have him on a YouTube, have him on a call, and could have answered some questions. It would have been a freaking sweet move. But no, all good. Looking forward to him coming. But anyway, I wanted to give a shout out to this fella last night that I met. I'm gonna put the what do you call it, the channel and that, right, because he's a YouTuber, and he happened to be a guy that was looking after us last night. Well, we went to this awesome restaurant on a date night, took the wife out, and I absolutely love doing it. It's a beautiful position to be in, because I'm in a position that I can do this, especially when you're loving your job and your work, and you haven't got that. I don't have that stress. My stress comes from trying to find answers that I'm looking for the answers to help somebody, and that's a good stress to have, because it's a beautiful thing to be able to learn and be able to pass on information and stuff to you guys out there, to where you can get help with all this. It's where all my podcasts and everything comes from as well. I get joy out of doing it. So anyway, big shout out to the Rad Chaser. I wrote his name down. I said Red at first when I was talking to the fella last night. And dude, I didn't get your actual name, and you're an absolute banging fella, matey. You really are. It was we'd been to this place twice now. Before because I want to bring it into the end of the story, but I really wanted to give this guy a shout out. Rad Chaser. I'm gonna put his, like I said, in the description. Excuse me, I'm drinking coffee and I've got the old bleeding hair coming up. My mum would say, "Bear up and down, son." Bear up and down, son. Because we eat Sunday dinner, Sunday roast. Whoa, that's all right. Bear up and down. But anyway, Rad Chaser, great fella. He has worked with us twice now. I don't like saying server or anything like that, because he's a fucking human being, and he's I don't know what a correct word would be, because they all sound a bit to me, but a friend. Let me put it that way, because after last night, when we got there, it was the second time that this fella. We've been there twice, and he's seen us twice now. And he put us straight on the food and everything. And he did that before. And I remembered something with the guy, and I made mention of it. And he goes, "Blimey, you do remember?" And I went, yeah. I remember you well, mate. And it was just he made the evening. It was a great evening. But he's getting into it. He's getting into editing and stuff, and he's starting to get on that side. And he's a YouTuber, and he has a channel, which, like I said, I'll bung it in the description on both the live, the YouTube and the podcasting. So anyway, big shout out to him, and he's going to come into the story a little bit later. But I wanted to let you know right in the beginning, so you don't get a bit of a confusion of when I get to that bit. So hopefully you've got a bit of time. Is everybody good? Is everybody sweet as a nut in the live? I hope everybody's good, because I don't want to go in and do the chatting bit at the minute like I normally do, because like I say, on a podcast, and that ain't going to sound too good on the old podcast. But when we get to the end, when I switch it off, we'll have some questions and shit if you have that. And if Grom's in, fucking great, right? But anyway, I want to talk about the Grom, and me bloody he's getting over here on Friday. He flies in on Friday, and I've not met him yet. Personally, face to face, as far as fella to fella, done a lot of talking over WhatsApp, and can't seem to get me bloody words out. Maybe it's the bleeding hang on a minute. I've got to take another little bit of a coffee. Hang on, let me have a little bit of a pause here and a swallow. Yeah, on the old coffee. Hang on. Oh, delicious. So anyway, he's here on Friday, and of course my wife's got me running around like a bloody blue ass fly, ain't she? I'm like, bloody hell, I had to fix the door yesterday, and we've had to take the waste, because everything goes to shit, right? And then you go, I'll do it next week. Well, it's been a few weeks, and all of a sudden it's like, I need you to do this. I'm like, oh no, oh shit. And of course, I'm like, Grom, you son of a bitch. Oh, Trin, I'm on a podcast as well. So thanks for coming in. My oldest daughter's just come in and showed up in the live. So everybody that's in the comments on the live, please go out there and say hello to my daughter. Yeah, my oldest is in there, sweet as a nut. And anyway, I'm going to get into the story because I don't want to last this out for hours and hours. So I'm running around like bloody crazy, doing all kinds of shit, mate. Freaking fixed the door, that got done. We got the waste disposal off this morning. That's waiting for me to fix that up. I got the grass mowed earlier this morning. And oh, by the way, Trin, if again, people on the podcast, sorry about this. Marie's in. You see, Marie's in there, who we did the yoga with, the yoga teacher. Remember? You remember Marie. Beautiful, beautiful human being. Anyway, so I'm running around like bloody crazy cleaning. I got a bunch of stuff to do still, and I don't have to, but because I'm actually looking forward to doing it, believe it or not, I really am. And those things that I left too long are now coming to bite me in the arse. Oh, good God, are they? So how did I meet a Grom? I wrote down notes last night because I was buzzing so much. I just started banging down notes. Oh, chill. Yeah, sorry, people. Podcast. Chill's in as well there, Trin as well. So anyway, how did I meet a Grom? Blimey. It's funny because I can't quite put my finger on actually how it all started. And I believe it was when the old virus, when that old big C virus thing was really floating around in like 2019. And I think it was through that. I'm not sure. I might have that wrong. And I can't remember if it was when I actually had that without actually saying it. And I was just flicking through, and I honestly believe, I wish he was on here because he could correct me because I might be wrong, but I believe I kind of stumbled on the channel and I started watching it and realised it was a regular fella putting out a channel and enjoying it, and it was wrapped around mental health. And I, when I started going back again, I'm going to put Grom's site and all that in the descriptions on the podcast as well. If you want to go and have a butcher's, have a look. But anyway, so I made a comment once, and I didn't expect anything back. I've gone on plenty of, I think at that point, not plenty, but here and there, comments out there, and no one gets back to you, but he did. And I'm like, oh shit. So a bit of a conversation started going, like with messaging as far as through YouTube and that. And then I actually got invited into a group, which again, there's some absolute blinding people in there. Chill one of them as far as the group and that, who I met through that. And I've got Pippa I knew through Twitter, Pippa out there, and Marie I know who's in here now is my Kundalini yoga teacher, who's absolutely a blinding one with it as well. But got into this group, and the reason he invited me into this group, he says, I want people in the group that have inspired me. And I thought, blimey, wow, I've never been asked that before. So, and it started from there. And I started meeting up a bunch of really cool people. And then it was like, I can't remember if this was before the group or after the group. I can't remember the timeline, but he started figuring out what I did. And he's like, hey, why don't you start videoing? Because I'd made mention about, I've wanted to do it, but never had the arsehole, right, holding a camera in my face and bleeding, like walking down the street, because I wanted to get this message out to plenty of people. Like I say, please go and subscribe because it helps me get out there to the people. Let me tell you, get this message out to people. But Of course, my own insecurities were coming in with that. Like, oh, what? Like, oh, and he's like, you don't need all any fancy shit or anything like that. Just do it on your phone and video yourself. And I'm like, what? The concept, and at this point, I didn't know the shit that had happened to this fella in the past as far as that mental health. I had no idea. I just knew him as this guy that had this channel going, and it was a good channel because it was just an everyday regular fella putting it out there. And I'm like, I can freaking relate to this. So I remember the first day that I bloody, I grabbed my phone. I do my walks on a Friday, and I do the old video in, and I drop messages on a Friday morning, and I put them out there on YouTube. So please, again, go out there and have a look. I've got a bunch out there. I think there's over 500 videos now I've got out there, I think, something like that. So go out there and have a butchers, if you will, please have a look. And the very first one I did, I remember freaking Friday morning switching there, and it was weird feeling, because it was like I'm talking to my phone, and the concept of like nobody actually being there. It wasn't until I started turning it and visualizing faces and people, and actually like, oh, I'm talking to them, and then it turned into I could be talking to anybody, and then it went into like, if you haven't heard these messages, talk to them. So it got me going, and he started, giving me advice and teachings, and telling me about, there was good criticisms that would come with it, and because all criticism is good criticism, whether you think it's bad or good, even the stuff that you don't quite like to hear is good criticism, because it means there's something right. You're either doing something right, yeah, or you can learn from it. Yeah, you might not be doing something. You go, point taken. Yeah, so it's all good. But I started getting into the chats with him and doing some WhatsApp chats, and then he would call me, of course, and then we started to get to know each other a little bit more, and it started growing from there a little bit more. And I started to realize like who the fella was, and then it came down to there was a point where we were doing. If you go and check it out, I've done an interview with him. It was a little while ago now, but if you go to my lives and go down, there's an interview with the Grom, and we're like facing each other on the thumbnail. And it was really cool, because I said to him then, I'm like, do you want to roll with us? Because I was going in and with my therapy head on, and we got into some deep shit with that as far as conversation and that. And I like it. It's got about 151 views, I think, or something like that. And it's worth a little look. You can break it up because it went on for like 4 hours, because I got going. So, but go and have a butcher's of that. But when I said there, Luke, do you want to open up a bit? Are you good with this? Because I can go in a little bit. And he's like, yeah, go for it. And that was it. And that's what we did. And we did it on a live. It's recorded out there. Go and have a look on my YouTube. So, I mean, this guy couldn't even, he'll tell you himself, I'm not giving anything away or saying anything bad or, confidential or anything, but this guy will tell you that he couldn't even get out the door at one point. It was that bad. And he said in his live, he said that, he smokes, and he had a problem even getting out to go down and buy cigarettes. And anybody I know people that, they have that issue when it comes to smoking cigarettes and that, and it's hard to break the habit and that. So to think about somebody that was, pretty much with the mental health as far as not being able to get out and get and do that is like, ooh, that's pretty heavy. And now, you look at what's going on there as far as he's come all this way by taking risks and pushing himself and working on himself. And we've got into some really great conversations around different things, especially when it's wrapped around the mind. and we talk about that, and we can get pretty deep with it and pretty long with our conversations. But now he's going to be getting on a plane and traveling out the country 4,000 miles to the US and doing a US tour. So absolutely proud of that fella, absolutely banging, because it's to go from hardly being able to get out your door to being able to get down the street, yeah, and then to be able to bloody go from that and getting on a plane is quite phenomenal. That's phenomenal progress. And that comes, guys, from being able to move through your mentals as far as what's going on with your mentals and the negatives and things like that. It's why I love what I do, because I teach from experience, and I just seem to have a way. And it's the same with this guy. There's a lot of experience there, and he's able to hold conversations around different things and philosophies and things like that. And I've got into some really, really deep, great conversations, because we'll go off on one and that's it. We get into it, and you'll probably see that a bit because I am going to get him on here on a live. So please, people, if you go over to my channel, hit notify me, and then you'll be notified when things are going to be kicking off with me. Because sometimes I just jump on and throw a live up because I just want to, because I feel like it. All right, I don't plan shit. It's better that way. Then I don't get resentment for it. It's like, right, jump on, bosh, get it. You know, does me good. I feel great. Like now, I'm loving this. Absolutely loving this. I really do enjoy doing what I'm doing and getting the word out there. So, so this guy has inspired me. Grom has inspired me without a shadow of a doubt. He's part of my journey now, like many of the other people that I just spoke about. Part of the journey. And I've met some really. Oh, now my wife's just come on the live. Oi oi, you're on the podcast as well, Trace. So yeah, big shout out to me missus who's just come in the live. I got to give her a bit of a shout. And cool, blimey, she put me through the ringer in a minute, ain't you, dear? Anyway, so yeah, it's definitely inspired me, and it's definitely a part of my journey going forward as far as where I've gone. I've gone from I'm just reading some of the comments, made me laugh. I've gone from not even being able to pick up the phone. By the way, I used to have a phobia with the phone, like a bad phobia with the phone. And my wife will tell you, it was the phone would ring and I could tell I could even see who was on the other side. Excuse me. I could even see who was on the other side of the line and still bleeding shit it, because I just couldn't pick up the bloody phone. And absolute bloody nightmare. But you know, I've progressed. I've gone to now really my therapy that I've been doing. And then when I got into working this job, which it was right at the very beginning. It wasn't nothing. Still didn't know I was going into this. I was going over and helping my therapist do energy work on people and getting my own therapy. And that I didn't see this coming one iota, not at all. No way in heck I saw this coming. And then I've gone from that to a really, really another beautiful human being. Big shout out to Raquel. Love you. I know I've been a bit distant. I get it. But I've been working on myself a little bit too. But I told her a little while ago, funny enough, how it was her that broke my phone phobia, really, because it came down to, she was at first was a client of my therapist, and my therapist got a hold of me and said, "Hey, I've got a crisis. Can you get on the phone?" And I'm like, it was split second, like, like anxiety. And then I'm like, no, someone needs help. And boom, that was it. Shifted me. And then, of course, then Grom comes in, yeah, and starts telling me about videoing. And I'm like, I didn't know my arse from the hole in the ground. I didn't even know how to do folders and that on a computer. I had no idea. Files and folders. My wife was always having a go at me saying, you don't know how to do it. Why don't you learn how to do it? And I'm like, I don't know how to do it. Oh, mate. But hang on, let me get rid of that because something just come up on my screen. There we go, get rid of that. But I've gone from that to being able all of a sudden releasing my fear of even doing videoing myself and getting the message out on video. And that's down to people that walk in your life. And Grom's one of those. And you know, and I get pushed by people as well. Tori, that's not on here. Thank you, because I got pushed in a direction as far as not knowing what to do with the barcodes and QR codes. And I was like, and I wanted to get it on a shirt, and it could have cost me an arm and a bloody leg. But there was a way around it using a link tree, and I had no idea. But anyway, so, you know, I went from that to where I'm at now. And now I've got podcasts and equipment, and I'm vlogging lives, and you can do this. And people can have that influence on you, but really, really have that influence on you. So anyway, getting to the coffee place that we, before the coffee place, actually, my wife and I go out to this really nice little place. I'm bringing this fella back in now, this Rad Chaser. Again, you guys that are out there to just come on, Rad Chaser, great guy, really, really, really nice guy. And we were kind of like what, because we looked at the menu, and for some reason we thought the menu had completely changed from before, because we'd only been there the once before, and we sat outside because it was a bit cooler. And my missus is going, oh no, there's no, and I'm like, it's all good, don't worry, we'll figure it out. And then when that guy turned, I'm like, I think he helped us last time. And of course, then I figured out, yeah, and he got tweaked on. Oh yeah. And so, and then as we were having this awesome meal, I'm having an absolute banging time with my wife. So freaking cool. I really, really enjoyed it. I got a really nice buzz out of it. Had some killer food. Which I've got some for lunch actually. Oh, nice one. Had some really, really good food, and it was really, really a good time. And anyway, towards the end of the meal, the fella comes up and grabbed a couple of boxes, and I said, "Hey, listen, man," I said, I'm going to bring a mate here." And he goes, "Oh yeah," and I said, "Yeah, he's a YouTube fella," and he goes, "Oh, really?" I thought, oh, hang on a minute. So he said, do you do any of that? And I'm like, well, I said, I got a podcast channel, I said, and I do YouTube. And he goes, oh yeah, what's your name out there? So I said, so my wife, thank God, speaks up, and she goes, hey, get your link tree up. And I'm like, shit, I've never used it. You can get the QR code up on your link tree and have them just go blip on their phone. So I got that up. Blip, he's got all my socials and all that now. So and I'm like, well, do you have a channel? And he goes, yeah, I do actually. He goes, and I want to get into more of the editing and all that. So, you know, he's like, if you know anybody for, you know, wants some editing done. So anybody who wants some bloody editing done, listen, I'm gonna bang this fella's description in my description. Sorry, this guy's channel in my description. Go and have a check him out. And he's a gamer fella, and he's got a good channel. He's got a good channel out there. I want to go through and watch some of the stuff because I haven't gone through it all yet. But I kind of skimmed through while we was out last night. And yeah, big shout out there to the Rad Chaser, great fella. So when we gets out of my wife's going, I want something sweet after we just eat freaking 14 ton of food. Right. So my missus looks up and she goes, let's go to that coffee spot that we was going to go to before. I remember kind of it being a bit busy last time. We were like, oh, come on, we'll come out. But my wife's like, yeah, I want to go there. And these are places that you find when you just, you know, you got to do a little bit of searching Yeah, you look them up, and I can't remember the name of this bloody Trace. If you're still in the lives, please tell me the name so I can throw it out there on the podcast. But this little coffee place is an absolute banging little gaff, and it's tucked away, sits on a water, right next to a restaurant, which is like an Abachi something or other, I think, place. Sits right on the water. And we go in there, and as I walk in, and I'm looking up at the menu, and I already see chai latte, and I love chai tea. So I'm like, chai latte, oh, lovely jubbly. Yep, that's me. And then I look below it, and it said Earl Grey hot cocoa. And I'm like, oh, my word. Like, I love Earl Grey. I really do. It's my probably top 3. Probably in the top 2 actually, because I really do love but good Earl Grey, and I like a really strong, and it just, I like the smell of it and everything. What IHNI apparently is what it's called. My wife just told me. Capital I, capital H, capital N, capital I. What it's called is what my wife just told me on the live. So that's the place. Earl Grey down the old Gregory Chill just shouted out on the live. Yeah, right. But it married in my head, and my chef in head came on, and I'm like, oh, that totally goes together. Earl Grey and freaking chocolate. But I'm plant-based, and I can't just eat chocolate. I've got to have it like a real dark chocolate to be able to eat it, which is better for you, right? But so I'm like, oh wow, that really marries. So the young girl behind the bar, I go up, and I'm like, she goes, can I help you? And we're in a chatty mood, my wife and I. We're buzzing. We've got a great freaking energy going on. We're feeling great. And everything's going sweet at the ass, right? Things are bleeding. I've already put the lock on without much trouble. Oi, that's great for me. There's no holes, extra holes or anything. Went straight on. Even though I couldn't get the bolt in properly. And when I dropped to it, I had to go ching ching and land in this square, and I can't see properly. And I think a few like bollocks came out of my mouth because oh, I have no idea is what my wife is saying. IHNI equals, she says, I have no idea. So that's not the name of the gaff. Brilliant. Thank you very much, wife. Just gone all over me podcast. And now people go, he ain't got a bloody clue. No, I ain't. That's why I asked. And I obviously don't know shorthand or whatever the heck that is. But anyway, this place is a banging gaff. I says to the girl, listen, that Earl Grey cocoa, I'm like, that sounds just freaking amazing. Like, the flavour just went bosh. I'm like, oh, you got to be having a laugh. That really goes together. But of course, the old plant base in my head comes in and I'm going, well, I can't drink it. So I'm saying to the girl, oh, that sounds like an absolute no. I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you, Marie. I've just had Marie come up and ask a question about what? Earl Grey makes a cocoa? No. Hang up a minute, right? So, and if I could get the name, if my wife can get the name of the gaff and tell me on the live, it'll be freaking absolutely banging, because and then I can throw it out there and give a big shout out to this place, because it was a great experience. Great place, great experience. And I can't even remember what the bloody road. She got back to me. Snow bean, coffee, and desserts. Snow bean, as in coffee bean, snow bean, coffee, and desserts. Big shout out, big shout out to those guys. I might even throw theirs in the description and all. I'll get their site. I've got to remember all this though. Let me write it down. Grom coffee place. Okay, so I'm writing it down so I remember. Absolute banging place. Really cool, good atmosphere. Bunch of young, and I love that, being around a bunch of young people, because I don't feel my age anyway. screw that shit, right? You are what you feel, and I feel fucking great. I'm in a second breath of life, matey. I'm revving. So I said to go on, but I'm vegan because I tell people I'm vegan. I do have honey. That's why I say I'm plant-based. But when you say plant-based to people, they go, what? And so when I say vegan, I go, oh. Anyway, so she goes, hang on a minute. And she walks off, and she's like, I can see she's reading a bunch of ingredients. She comes back, she goes, I can make that vegan for you. And I went, what? What? So she says, I can make that vegan for you. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I goes, okay, now I want two things. So she says, what's that? And I says, I'll have a small Earl Grey cocoa, and I'll have a large chai latte. So with coconut, with oat milk, because it's not much creamier. So she goes, oh, I can only do the medium in the chai latte. So I'm like, and I thought, oh yeah, it's a bit naughty having a large, right? So I'm like, yeah, all right, sweet as a nut. Give me the medium. So I give the medium, and I get the other one, right? And we go outside, we sit outside for a little bit, we get buzzed in. I come in, they're both up there, well, my wife's as well, sitting up there on the counter, and I take a sip of this bloody Earl Grey cocoa, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, that married how I had it in my head. Like, that goes. And what it is literally getting a really good Earl Grey tea. Like, really, I could, when I got down to the bottom, there was a big old bag in the bottom with all the frigging tea and bergamot and that in the bag. Good Earl Grey tea. And I believe they use like a cocoa syrup that is plant-based, and they used. We figured it out, my wife and I, what she said, because I didn't quite catch what she said. My wife did, and she said there's 3 ingredients: agave, cocoa, the cocoa syrup, and Earl Grey tea. And I tell you what, holy shit! And I made it with oat milk. Amazing. Sorry, not oat milk. I didn't put just the cocoa, right? Sorry, no oat milk. The cocoa. Absolutely amazing. Unless they had oat milk in it, because I remember her saying oat milk. Maybe I'm wrong, but I remember her saying, so she probably made the cocoa with the oat milk and then poured it into that's probably how they did it. And then the agave is a sweetener. Holy shit, man. If you like Earl Grey tea, try it. Look, you probably can get the syrup online, I would imagine, but absolute banging, right? So anyway, I take a sip of it, and my wife's like, I want to have a sip. And we're in the store, and the girl that's made it standing there across the counter. And I take a sip, and I'm like, I just fucking fall in love. And my wife's like, I want to have a sip. So she has a sip, and she looks at the girl, and she goes, oh, I'm going to be having some of that. And I went, what? This is my idea. And I look at the girl, and she goes, all right. And I'm like, freaking sweet as a nut, spot on. What a banging. Just, I'll be back there for sure. So big shout out to those guys over there. The Snow Bean Coffee and Desserts. Look them up. Google it if you're in the Central Florida area. So when we came out of there, we get in the motor, we bring our coffees with us, and we get in the motor, and it's later on in the evening, and we pull away. So we get on the subject of Grom, and I'm like, I'd like to take you to that place. And I realized we've been going to different coffee places and going, Grom. So I'm like, oh shit, maybe we can do a freaking tour or something of the different coffee places. So that's what's going to be happening, and I'm just gonna be signing off a little bit. So you're going to see me signing out on the ending of me old podcast. All right. So here we go. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you. We're actually going to be carrying on the live. If you want to join in on the live, please turn up 11 a.m. on Sundays Eastern Time US, yeah? I have an absolute blast getting the message out there. And this is a new one for me. It would have been great to have been able to do a call-in. That would have been absolutely awesome. But it's okay not to be right now. It's all good. It's not meant to be right now. But again, big shout out to that Rad Chaser fella last night. Absolute banging fella. Thank you for steering me right on the food. You did it. You knocked it out of the park again, matey. And please, again, go and hit that subscribe. I absolutely love what I do. It's all about getting the help out there to the people and getting the message out there, yeah? So if you're listening to this and you come this far, please hit that subscribe button or give me the likes or whatever you do on whatever platform you're on. I love each and every one of you, let me tell you. And there are some right loyal people out there. They really are loyal. So thank you for being part of my journey. Have a great weekend, guys. If you're live, stay on. Loving each and every one of you. Namaste. All right, we're good. We're off. That will be up on the thing. So has anybody got any? Now I'm off of that. I don't have to pay so much attention. Well, I do, but I mean, you know what I mean, right? So I'm going to put my old cover on. So anybody got any questions or anything like that? Has anybody got any? Because you know it's double duty. That's sick. Oh well, I'm trying it, mate. It's the first time I've done it. It'd have been great to have been able to. It would have been great to have been able to have a call in, because if Grom would have been on and been able to do a call in, it'd have been like right now. I'd have done it off the podcast. But I wanted to give that guy out there, the Rad Chaser, as well. Big shout out to him on that platform and all, because he took the time to really, really help us out. He really did. And there was a point that my wife and I were looking at each other going, "Oh no," because we couldn't. And I'm like, I'm sure with this menu, it's got to be the same, because we've been there. And I'm like, it's got to be the bleeding same. Surely this ain't bloody. Like, so when I look, and I'm like, I remember having spring rolls. Like, I'm saying to Tracy, I'm sure we had spring rolls. Don't you remember the spring rolls? And I go back and I'm looking in the starters. Yeah, I was gonna. Well, if Grom would have been on, Marie, because now I can talk because I'm off the podcast now. If Grom had been on, I was going to try and do a call in with him and have him call in, and then have like a question and answer thing as well, and it would have been decent. But it's not to be. You know, what's not to be is not meant to be. It's not the right time. It's all good. I'm just happy that it was able to go out there through the mic. So now I know that it's all working sweet as a nut. But I can't remember where I was at. I was talking about something. I can't remember where I was at now. Yeah, what was I talking about? I kind of lost my train of thought. Yeah, sorry. I just read Chill's message there. So yeah, I've been trying it out. And I've noticed that now I think I've got the box set up in a fashion where if I switch that on, it takes over on whatever I'm on with my computer, I believe. So, you know, to be able to do that and slide in and out and have people see the process a little bit. Not that I'm going to have another camera set. I've got these other cameras as well, and I want to set another one up, maybe either on the side to where it's coming in so you can see the soundboard and the mic and that from a different angle. But yeah, I'm giving it a bash, mate. Trying new things out. So you know, we're all looking forward to the old Gromster getting over here. It's gonna be really good. And the coffee places that we've been finding and the little places that we've been eating at as well have been absolutely just banging little spots. That spot last night with that frickin' Earl Grey tea was like ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. Second camera would be sick too. You can switch back and forth between the two. Yeah, I can have these. I've got these cameras where I can set them up where it'll do it automatically. So I don't even have to mess around with it. I can do it manually, but I can have it where I can go live and have it automatically just switch from camera to camera at certain, I don't know, I guess you set it up on a timer or something. I don't know exactly. Not done it yet. Rad, not rat, rad, R-A-D, R-A-D, Rad Chaser. I'm gonna put his message in the description on my podcast and on the live as well. Yeah, the old double camera. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I've got this free camera setup. It comes with free cameras, and I could set it up. Like if I was going to do an interview with somebody, this is all the ideas I got in my hand. I've got equipment so like ready to go with the ideas that I've got because I started building it up a little bit. And I can the spring rolls, yeah. Oh, the spring rolls, yes. I was talking about the spring rolls. You're right. Give me a sec. So I can set the one camera on one person, one camera on the other, like so in individuals, and then have another one set up out so there's both people, and it will switch. It will switch at random automatically. And then I have they come with like lapel mics and all that, but I've got the other microphones as well that I can stick on as well. Yeah, we're gonna do a live, that's for sure. Get him on probably in the same room next to me somehow. We've got room here. So I'm probably going to get him in on this and throw the old lapel mics on so I can plug them in instead of going through this mic. I could do it with a desk mic. I got, like you can see, I don't know if you up there. I've got the old desk mic and headphones up there for extras. But it might be better with the old lapel mics and it's a little bit less messing around. And plus it's like I don't exactly know how to fade the mics in and out, and there's ways of doing it to where the presenter is a little bit more ahead, not louder, but a little bit louder than the person you're interviewing, stuff like that. There's a lot of different things and ideas I got in my head, and I want to do. I also found out that I can go through Zoom onto live to when then I can bring on guests then and start interviewing that way and talking that way as well. So there's a lot of ideas in the pipe works. Please go out there and again, hit that subscribe button for me, hit that like, get the word out there because it's really, I'm really enjoying what I do. Anyway, spring rolls. So, I'm sure there was bloody spring rolls we ate. So I looked back and I was looking at the appetizers that were cold and I didn't look down on the yacht and I looked at and I'm like, hey, it's freaking spring roll. So I'm like, oh, all right, we're in the right ballpark here. We ain't freaking going losing our minds. I mean, then Tracy goes, hang on a minute, wasn't there I forget what she said, something or other. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, all right, we're sweet. So when the guy came up and it was the same fella from last time, Rad, R-A-D Chaser, again, it'll be in the description. When that fella came up and then I'm like, dude, you hooked me up last time? And he's like, I did. And that's when I mentioned about something that he told me before. And he's going, oh, all right, yeah. So, and then I got the abachi tofu with I don't know if you like those ginger. Have you ever had those in Asian restaurants where you have the freaking the ginger salad? Oh my God. Freaking unbelievable. Rad Chaser ain't on here, Marie. He ain't on here, mate. It was a fella that I met last night in the restaurant, but we subscribed to it. Well, I believe I've subscribed to his channel, and we told each other about each other. And I'm going to take the Grom down there because I wanted to do something for his birthday or his last night out. But this fella's saying, hey, come in on the Sunday. He's like, I can put you over here. And he said, you can set because he's a YouTuber himself. So he's like, you can set a camera up right there. And he goes, you can have, and he started rattling shit off like time lapse or whatever. He's like, you can freaking sit there, have a conversation and shit, leave the camera. And I'm like, all right, sweet as that. So, that may happen. Because this place was good and I wanted to do something for the birthday, and then maybe take him up to the coffee place and grab a coffee up there. But I didn't get to sleep until about 4:30 this morning because I was buzzing. Excuse me. I was buzzing just thinking about different things and that. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great Sunday. I'm gonna start closing this down, and I hope everybody had a go. I hope the meditation. I hope people got something out of that meditation, because it's something to keep on thinking about and bringing into focus. I look like I've been crying. Look, just coughed and my eyes are watered up. And look out for the fellas I'm going to put in. Once this uploads, I'll go back in and I'll bring that coffee place up. I'll put Grom's in the descriptions, and the rad chaser, because I thought he said red last night, and I'm like, red, and he's like, no, rad. I'm like, oh, because I couldn't find him. And I was, is that you? And he's like, no, rad. And I'm like, oh, all right. And then I found him straight away. So great guy, big shout out to him. So anyway, hope everybody has a good Sunday. I'm going to be getting into some work now, cleaning and doing, and I've got to fix the old waste disposal unit, because we've had problems with that. We think there's something down there stuck in it, so we had to take it out. Bloody hell. And I'm no mechanic, but I'm going to see if I can get the bleed thing spinning, because it's got juice to it, but it's just going... It wants to move, but it's something like, oh, no, you're not. Oh, no, you're not. So anyway, big shout out there to Grom. I did this so there's something to start the journey going with. You can, if you want to keep this, you can. It's something that you can load up and have with you or whatever. It's just that start the week before, the leading up, and then we will be banging out a live at some point. I've no doubt in my mind, or podcast or something. Yeah. And I'm sure I'm going to get taught some things as well, which has always been teaching me all the way along. That absolute been an influence in all of this. If it wasn't for Grom, I probably wouldn't. And he'll always say, I know nothing, and he's full of shit. Don't believe him. So yeah, thank you for everybody for tuning in. I absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. You're absolute loyal to me, and I that really does mean a lot to me. It really, really does. You come back, you tune in, you keep my energy going for sure. So thank you. Namaste to every one of you, and keep that energy going. And what's Chill saying? Wherever I get, great job on the podcast and live. Proud of you. Great episode as always. Thanks, matey. Thanks, Chill. Go and check out Chill's site as well. And another one of those that keeps coming on and banging out the comments and being loyal. So thanks, everybody. Have a great Sunday. Keep the stoke, keep the movement forward. That's the PPA and the PMA. Keep it moving. And remember what you did in the meditation. Wrap yourself in that blanket. When you get those negatives coming in, start seeing those positives and wrap yourself up in that blanket. All right. Take it easy. Love ya. See you next week sometime, maybe.